Okay, so in this video we will see digital voltmeter part 2. Okay, the techniques that we can use to measure a unknown voltage. So the first technique which we have here is a ramp technique. Okay, a ramp technique. What is assumed is that the voltage that you want to measure, okay, the voltage that you want to measure lies between 0 volts and 12 volts. Okay, and with respect to this diagram, okay, let us say this is the point X. Okay, and this X represents my voltage that I want to measure. Okay, or the unknown voltage. This X represents the value that you want to measure. Now as you can see here, there is a ramp signal. Okay, as you can see here, there is a ramp signal which is starting at this point. You can see start of the ramp, and it is decrementing. It reaches this point. Now this point is named as first coincidence. Why it is named as first coincidence is because at this point what is happening, my ramp signal and the value X are equal. Okay, we will use this, okay, to generate what is called as a start pulse. Then what happens, your ramp signal decreases and it will reach this value, okay, ground. When your ramp signal reaches this value, what you have is a second coincidence. Now the second coincidence happens when you have a ramp signal equal to ground level. Okay, so these 2 points you have to remember. First coincidence when your ramp becomes equal to the voltage that you want to measure, and the second coincidence is that when your ramp signal value becomes equal to ground level. Now what we are going to do is that we are going to measure time between first coincidence and second coincidence, okay, using a oscillator and a counter. Okay, so as you can see here, downside, if you see, I am going to count pulses from an oscillator, and that is going to give me some time. Okay, and this time that I measure between the first coincidence and the second coincidence is proportional to the value of X. Okay, is proportional to the value of X. Now how do you do that using hardware is that you require two comparators. One comparator is called as input comparator, the other comparator is called as ground comparator. Now whenever your ramp signal reaches the value to be measured, or you can say X, the first coincidence, the input comparator produces a start pulse. The same start pulse is given to the gate of oscillator, given to a gate, and this gate, what it does, it is going to pass oscillator pulses through it to a counter. Okay, and the counter will start reading, that means at this point, okay, it is going to count these pulses one by one. After some time, what happens, your ramp signal will reach ground level, and at that point your ground comparator is going to produce a stop pulse. Now this stop pulse, what it does, it deactivates the gate, and the counter cannot count the oscillator pulses. Okay, why? Because it is blocked. Okay, we'll see the hardware now. Okay, so this is the hardware. You can say this is the circuit. Okay, so you have input here. Okay, and that is given to ranging and attenuator. So you can adjust any noise if it is there, it will be filtered there. Okay, so here at this point, okay, at this point you will have X. Okay, and this is what is called as a input comparator. On the other input of the input comparator is connected to a ramp generator, right? Okay, so you have input comparator where the two inputs of the input comparator are X and ramp signal. On the bottom side, you have ground comparator, where the two inputs of the comparator are ramp signal and ground. So as we have discussed before, what happens whenever your ramp signal becomes equal to X, your input comparator is going to produce a start pulse, and that activates the gate. And what happens, the oscillator pulses are going to pass through this gate and will be given to the counter, and the counter counts them one by one. Okay, when your ramp signal reaches ground level, what happens is that this ground comparator is going to produce a stop pulse, and the same stop pulse is going to deactivate my gate. Okay, deactivate my gate, and the oscillator pulses will be blocked. Okay, they will be blocked and they cannot reach the counter. Okay, so what we have is, okay, you have a ramp signal, okay, that is from 12 volts to 0, and you want to measure some voltage X. Okay, so this is my first coincidence, and then you have second coincidence at ground level. Okay, second coincidence. What we are doing is we are measuring the time between the first coincidence and the second coincidence using oscillator pulses. Okay, now depending on what is the how many pulses you have measured and what is the period of each pulse, okay, you can calculate the time. Now this time for which you are counting the pulse is proportional to the value of X. Okay, is proportional to the value of X. Let us say you have one more unknown voltage that you put there. Okay, let us say you have Y value. Okay, now Y is also unknown voltage, so the first coincidence that will happen will be around here. Okay, for Y, first coincidence for Y will happen here, but the second coincidence will happen at this level only, at ground level only. Okay, so you have to measure time. Okay, so I'll put dotted lines. Okay, and then between this time I am going to count the pulses, right? So again, as you can see here, let us say if this is some t1 value and if this is t2 value. Okay, so here you can see t1 is proportional to X and t2 is proportional to Y. Okay, if you have another voltage, then it will give you some different amount of pulses. Okay, so this you have to understand. Then next you have is second technique, okay, called as dual slope. Okay, called as a dual slope integrating type DVM. Okay, this also converts voltage to time. Okay, but instead of using one ramp signal, you have two ramp signals. Okay, so the first point is the input voltage EI is integrated, okay, with the slope of the integrator output proportional to the test input voltage. Okay, so the slope here you can see here, the first part of the graph. Okay, you have three ramps. Okay, you have three positive going ramps. These three ramps which you see, these are for different value of input voltage. If you change the test input, you can see here the output of the integrator is proportional to the test input voltage. So if you change the input voltage, that means if you change the EI, then the slope of this line will change. Okay, the slope of this line will change. But one thing which you can observe here is it is going to charge for a fixed amount of time. The slope is different, but it is charging for a fixed amount of time for T1. Okay. Then after a fixed amount of time equal to T1, the input voltage is disconnected. That means I am going to disconnect EI and then I will connect a voltage minus ER. Now since it is minus ER, what happens? The ramp signal will start to go down, or you can say it will start discharging the integrator. Okay, you can see here the input voltage is disconnected and the integrator input is connected to a negative voltage minus ER. The integrator output will have a negative slope which is constant and proportional to the magnitude of the input voltage. Okay, now here in this case the input voltage of the integrator is minus ER. So that is why what you can see here is these three lines which are there. Okay, the slope of all the three lines is same. Okay, why? Because all the three lines, okay, have same input minus ER. So here also you have minus ER, here also you have minus ER, here also you have minus ER. Okay, that is why the slope is same. Whereas in the first case, okay, whereas in the first case, here let us say if you have EI1, the second one may be like EI2, and the third one may be like EI3. Okay, that is why the slope is different for the positive going ramps, whereas the negative going ramps, all the three have same slope because they are connected to same voltage. Okay, try to understand. Okay, now next is how the hardware is connected, right? So you have input voltage here, EI. Okay, so you have input voltage here, EI, and then a reference voltage minus ER, which will be fixed. Then you have two switches, SI and SR, which are used to either connect or disconnect your EI to the circuit as well as ER to the circuit. If you close this S1, SI, what will happen? Your EI will be connected. If you open it, it will be disconnected. Okay, same thing is true for SR. Now here you can see this one is a integrator. Okay, it is going to add values. Okay, integrator means it is going to add values. If it is positive signal that you provide here, you will get a positive going ramp. If you give a negative value here, then you will get a negative going ramp. Okay, it depends on what is the input. Then you have a zero detector or a comparator. Okay, that is going to detect the value, make the value of EI. Okay, it is going to detect the value of EI. Okay, now the same thing is given here, okay, to the gate, and this is given to the second input of the gate is given by oscillator. Okay, now this gate, what is there is a normal AND gate. Whenever both the inputs of the AND gate are 1, what happens? This gate is going to activate. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to get a 1 at this gate input. Okay, and this comparator will give you 1 here only when you have a positive going signal here. Okay, like okay, like this is 0, right? Ground is 0, and if you have a signal like this, okay, positive going signal like this at the other input, then the comparator will be on. Okay, the comparator will be on the other hand, if you have a 0 here, okay, and if you was negative, okay, if it goes negative, the other input of the comparator goes negative, then you will not be able to get 0, sorry, you will not be able to get 1, you will get a 0. So how it operates, okay, how it operates is that at the start, this counter and this flip-flop, okay, now flip-flop is like it is either 1 or 0. Okay, so this flip-flop and counter will be reset. Okay, that means you will have a 0 here, and this is also 0. Okay, 0 0 0. And this switch drive, what it is doing, it is maintaining this one active. Okay, that means your S1 is connecting EI to the circuit and minus ER is disconnected, okay, at the start. Now since your EI is connected to the circuit and then it is connected to the integrator, you will have a positive going ramp. Okay, why? Because here you have positive signal at the input of the integrator, and that is why your this one, okay, EO, okay, that is going to be a positive going. Okay, and the moment it becomes positive going, okay, your 0 comparator is going to give you 1 here. Okay, at the output of the comparator you will get a 1, and that is going to activate the gate. Okay, that is going to activate the gate. Okay, and your counter will start counting. Now how this counter is going to be set up is that it will read 9999 for a t1 amount of period. Okay, so it should read 999 nines. Okay, when you reach t1. Okay, when you reach t1. Okay, so what happens, your gate is active. Okay, because of this comparator 1, the zero detector is giving 1 here, so you have 1 here, and the other input is your clock pulses, right? Clock pulses. Okay, so this is going to increment your count by 1. If you get 1 clock pulse, it is going to become 0001. Again 1 you get 002. Okay, so on till 4 nines. Okay, and how you have to set up your counter and display is that once you reach a time of t1, okay, you should get 4 nines. Okay, and afterwards what happens, the next clock pulse which you get, what happens, these 4 nines are going to become 10000. Okay, that means it is going to reset, and then there will be a carry here. Okay, and this carry is again forwarded to this flip-flop. This flip-flop in turn, what it does, it is going to switch the signal. Okay, it is going to switch the signal. That means what happens, your EI will be disconnected and your ER will be connected. Okay, or you can say your minus ER will be connected. So at this point what happens, okay, at this point what happens, your counter was 999. Okay, another pulse, you can say it counts and it becomes 10000. Okay, and this one which is generated, that is going to switch your EI to minus ER. Okay, and then what happens, your minus ER is connected, minus ER, or you can say negative value. Okay, and that is going to generate a negative ramp. Okay, that is going to generate a negative ramp, and this is proportional to minus ER. Okay, now once it starts doing that, okay, once it starts doing that, it is like this. Okay, again you still have 1 here, okay, for the gate. Okay, you still have 1 here for the gate. Okay, and this counter was 000. Okay, at the middle. Okay, your counter was 000 at the middle. For the next time, okay, for the next time, let us say for t2, it is going to measure how many clock pulses are passing. Okay, it is going to measure how many clock pulses are passing till your ramp signal reaches this point. Okay, till your ramp signal reaches this point. Till a ramp signal reaches this point. Okay, and once it reaches this point, what happens, your zero detector, okay, understands the input is going negative. Okay, the E0 is going negative beyond 0. Okay, and that time it will going to produce a 0. Okay, you can see here this one. Okay, and once it produces a 0, your gate deactivates. Okay, your gate deactivates and your counter will stop counting. So what you have to you can say take from this is that during the time t2, okay, during the time t2, how many pulses the counter has counted, okay, how many pulses the counter has counted, that is proportional to the value of EI. Okay, that is proportional to the value of EI. Okay, mathematically how it is done, we will see. Okay, so the integrator output, okay, the integrator output E naught, okay, that is given by minus 1 by RC 0 to T integration EI dt. Okay, and this is for charging cycle. That means when your input was incrementing, okay, for T1 amount of time. Okay, that is why it is from 0 to T1. Okay, so if you integrate, you will get this. okay, minus EI T1 by RC. Let us say it is equation 1. Similarly for discharging, okay, you can write this equation, okay, and it is going to be discharging for a T2 amount of time. Okay, it is going to discharge for T2 amount of time, right? So if you have like this, it is discharging for T2 amount of time. This is T2. Okay, it is charging for T1 and it is discharging for T2. So if you integrate again this, you will get minus ER T2 by RC. Okay, let us say this is equation 2. Next, what you have to do, you have to subtract them. Okay, since both of them have E naught equal to, okay, if you subtract E naught minus E naught, okay, you will get a 0 here, and these are the two charging and discharging values. Okay, so you will get something like this. What you have to do, you have to take one term on the other side. Okay, so if you take that, okay, if you take that, it will become like this. Now this minus and minus will cancel, RC and RC will cancel, okay, and only this much you will get, EI T1 equal to ER T2. Now what we want to do is we want to find the value of EI, right, the unknown voltage, okay, or the input voltage that we want to measure. So the EI is equal to ER T2 by T1. Okay, now if you are using oscillator oscillator period equal to T, and the digital counter indicates N1 and N2, that means your T1 is equal to N1 times T, and your T2 is equal to N2 times, okay, N2 times T. If you substitute that, what you will get is this. Okay, so EI is equal to ER into T divided by N1 T. So the time period will cancel, okay, and finally you will get something like this. Now here in this case, ER is constant, okay, the reference voltage, okay, minus ER, that is constant, and N1 is constant, right? N1 is constant. What we have seen is we are going to do the counting of charging, okay, the counting of charging which we have seen T1, that will be for fixed amount of time. So if T1 is fixed, then N1 times T is also fixed. Okay, so this ER and N1 are constants, and you can call that as K1 into N2. Okay, now here N2 is what? Is the number of pulses during the discharge time. Okay, during the discharge time you have T2, right? Here T2 is equal to N2 times T, capital T. So from this equation what we get is your EI is proportional to N2. Okay, that means the number of pulses which are counted during the discharging cycle are proportional to the input voltage EI. So this you have to understand.